can just, let's start with Real America's Voice.
Great. I have a question for David Grusch. Maybe you can mark for us how many species, recent reports have said that there are perhaps 4 different alien species raised. How many species are you aware of?
I certainly don't have the compendium. It's a continuum from corporeal bipedal type life to what I would consider like sentient plasmoid life, but there are several that the U.S. government is aware of. Okay.
During the course of your investigation, it's been surfaced to the public that there's been a program by the name of Immaculate Constellation. During the course of your investigation, did you recognize that the infrastructure to support such a program for exfiltration of data from federal systems would exist?
Yeah, I can't comment on the content of that program. I've discussed on my interview in Judicial Watch that was a National Security Council program, and the secrecy started in 1954 through an Eisenhower executive order that created that infrastructure.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Mr. Grusch,
Oh.
Kristen Fisher with the Endless
Yep.
Voice. When you look at where we are right now in this moment for the disclosure movement, what's at stake here?
I think the sovereign contract between the citizenry and its government. I think the institutional rots that the lack of transparency in this issue is possibly going to cause an unattainable socioeconomic condition if the government is not transparent, akin to certain other. I don't want to say the Epstein files. That's a dirty word, but we could have that kind of scandal if we're not transparent on this issue.
And do you have any advice for people who are new to the UFO topic, the UAP topic, who just don't know where to begin? There's just so much misinformation out there. What is your advice to them?
I would go watch James Fox's documentaries. I like the Disclosure is a great movie. That's a good primer. So, and there is a declassified 1971 Australian formally classified secret assessment that a couple years ago was put in the Australian National Archives. I encourage people to read page 7 through 16, and that was the nuclear branch chief of the Australian government discussing the U.S. cover-up and the involvement of the CIA back in the 70s. And that's actually a little-known document that is publicly available.
David, question with whistleblower Matthew Sullivan. Is there anything that you know, or is there anything that ties into what is happening here today with his testimony that never happened because he died 2 weeks, I guess, before?
That's an ongoing.
It's an ongoing federal investigation. Yeah.
They're leading up, but a lot of the stuff that started happening and picking up speed is just weird that it somewhat correlates to the disclosure efforts.
What was he coming in to testify for?
That would be a question for Rep. Burleson. Yeah, David.
Oh,
Any
well,
other questions?
yeah, Mr. Sullivan was on the Legacy program. I served on active duty with him in the Air Force, but I don't want to discuss details of his knowledge until the federal investigation is complete. Okay. Yeah, Joe?
So, for those that are maybe not so familiar, can
Yeah.
you explain right now what the roadblocks are? What is preventing lawmakers, and if lawmakers from visiting locations that have been critical to reverse engineering? or
David,
other
let
things,
Burchett and
that
Wilson.
the knowledge is there, but the ability to go and see them. is
I'll
not.
take a stab
yeah.
at that. If Congress says we're going to go to Area 51, if Congress says we're going to go to Area 51, everybody says, go to Area 51, Burchett. All I'm going to get there is a good dadgum T-shirt, all right? The moving van's already going to be there. The problem you have is that these things have been moved into private entities, so they don't have a FOIA. I could FOIA Ford Motor Company, get her, B, but doesn't mean they're going to do anything. That's why they moved it out of the federal governments, and that's part of the roadblocks. Other roadblocks we've seen, we tried to get a committee. We've had staff members try to block us when we first started this thing with that first hearing that Grusch said that there's biological entities. They tried to move it into remember that Russian balloon that flew over? They tried to move it into that.
Chinese.
And what was it?
Chinese,
excuse me, they're all together, I don't care. No, I know they're not, but they tried to move it into that. We had staff members try to block us, just the top level. We've been in a skiff before, and we had a member of Congress come in and just try to disrupt the meeting, try to disrupt Grusch, throw him all these trick questions, and he answered every dadgum one of them just right off the bat. He knocked it out of the park, so.
If there's before we have to go, because this is the last question, we do have a meeting set up with the White House. The White House is going to play ball on this. So as Rep. Burleson and Burchett has stated they are following through on everything that we are sending them. So the next course of action and something that they are willing to entertain is if you are an intelligence official or have knowledge of locations of materials, and in doing our due diligence and following up the task force, they are considering, and I do believe that they are going to be providing immunity permanently, so that people can't be hit with a violation of the Espionage Act. So again, there's a lot of people that have a lot of information, but it's really, can we prove it, and what information can we then bring forward to the American people? So we are still relying on you guys.
Wait a minute, let the guy with it. He's had his hand up the whole time, ma'am. Go ahead.
I have a question for Mr. Grusch.
Grusch, there goes the bell.
Scott Murtha from Mysterious Planet. I have a question. Do you have a sense of how many cases the government might be aware of that involve non-human?
Quite a few, several dozen. So that's an ongoing list. So can't give you an exact number because I didn't even have full access to that information.
I'm going to head out.
Several dozen. Yes. Yeah.
Bottom line, we got to go vote. Bottom line, we wouldn't be here if it weren't for the bravery of these individuals who came forward, Mr. Grusch, and all of the whistleblowers. We wouldn't be here if it weren't for the political courage of my colleagues who took this issue from being a fringe issue to being something that everyone is talking about and is no longer a fringe issue. And we wouldn't be here if it weren't for this president who has taken a decades-long request and finally brought us into the age of disclosure. And so, and I want to say thank you to the press as well, to James and to Leslie, and to everyone who has helped cover this topic. We're here to fight for the American people, fight for the truth. And again, our last call to action is we want to challenge every foreign country. Do what the United States is doing. See what we're doing here, and we want to see your country follow suit. And we want to see if any individuals have any information, do not be afraid to come to a member of Congress. We will protect you, and we will make sure that the truth is out there. Thank you.
It's shady. Y'all are the media. You figure it out. Of course there's something going on. You had 14 rabbis, 14 preachers, 14 used car salesmen disappear. You'd be asking questions. There's something going on. What? Nothing to do with UFOs. I think he's just ill.
What's the biggest wow that you've seen, Congressman Burchett?
Well, since you bear a striking resemblance to Steven Spielberg, I'm going to answer this. But Matthew McConaughey is going to play Tim Burchett in the Tim Burchett story, okay? I just want you to know that. I can't talk about it. That's the problem. I got to go. Thank y'all. Hey, tell your people to call their dadgum congressman, all right? We want disclosure. That's all you got to say, disclosure.